back, baby.
Offense, you know what to do.
It's football time in Tennessee.
Give me Tennessee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in. This is the latest episode of the 1796 Sports Pod. We got the whole gang together. We're going to be reviewing a huge win for the Vols over South Carolina on Wednesday. The Vols won 66-59 and clinched their first regular season SEC championship since 2008. So, big stuff there. It wasn't as high scoring as we all thought it was going to be, but we got the win and we did something we haven't done in over a decade. And now we close out the regular season at home against our favorite opponent. So it'll be interesting. Jim, what's your initial takeaway from the win in Columbia?
Well, it was a very physical game. And we knew that going in. I mean, the first game was like that. We just weren't hitting our shots the way we were the first game. And South Carolina, man, they came out, and I don't know what happened to their offense, but it was like all you did was shoot threes. That's all they did the first half. And they weren't hitting them, so that was in Tennessee's favor. And, I mean, Dalton Knecht, do we even got to say it anymore? The kid's a top 10, top 5 draft pick, in my opinion. He's absolutely insane. But, Tennessee played a good basketball game all around defensively. They scored when they needed to. They hit their free throws. But, yeah, I think Tennessee played a really good game, and they deserved that win.
They absolutely did, Jim. We say it. We've said it since start of conference play. It's hard to win on the road, and certainly hard to win on the road when the SEC championship is on the line. Jim, I kind of disagree that we played a great game. We shot worse than we did in Knoxville, or about the same against South Carolina as we did the first time. So it's just, again, the effort from the team is always there, but I still don't think they're playing their best basketball. We just secured our first outright title since 2008. So I think and you said last podcast, Jim, if they put it all together, I don't think there's anybody in the country who can beat us on a neutral court.
No, yeah, and that's what we're coming to at this point. I mean, you got one more home game tomorrow, obviously. And then, I don't know. I feel like we're kind of a home favorite in the SEC tournament because it's in Nashville. But yeah, I mean, this team. When I said we had a good game, it was like this team finds a way to win, and we found a way to win that against South Carolina in a very hostile environment. But yeah, I mean, this team. And I said it before, or I actually texted you during the game. I texted you guys during the game. But I want to talk about Gainey. Now, I don't know what it is. I still don't know what it is other than his dad's a coach or a coach on the team. But, oh my God, sometimes, and I love Gainey. I think he plays with a lot of effort. And, there's days where he doesn't miss, which we love, obviously. But he comes in the game, immediately gets a turnover, and then lets someone blow right past him, opens up his hips, and someone scores, an easy layup. To me, it's just mind-blowing. He's one of the guys where it's like, I get it, but I don't get it at the same time.
No, the bench played horrible. I didn't think Meshack did his normal stuff. I mean, he didn't score, but Meshack, I love Meshack. I mean, Meshack's my favorite player. So it's hard for me to say anything negative about him, but I didn't think Gainey and Awaka looked very good. I mean, like you said, it was kind of frustrating. Gainey is frustrating because sometimes he looks like an integral part of the team, and then other times he looks like he shouldn't even be near the court. There's like not a whole lot of in between.
Yeah, I mean, he's so inconsistent. There's a game where he'll come out and drop 18, and then and you know what's crazy? And I see, like, he is very, very talented. Like, there's at some points where, like you just said, he'll drive to the basket, and it'll look like an NBA player driving to the basket, and he'll get a nice layup, and, you know, and that's it. But there's other games where it's like he touches the ball, it's like an automatic turnover. And it's like he's got to get that figured out, especially, you know, for next season. But I mean, right now, I mean, he's solid off the bench for the most part. But during the South Carolina game, the game you had to win, and they kept him in, and he didn't play that well. So,
you know, I think that a lot of the times where Gainey looks really, really bad is when they use him to spell Zeigler at point guard. I think off the ball, he's a perfectly serviceable scorer, and he's worth having in the game. But when he's trying to play point guard for those, you know, 1 or 2 minutes where Zeigler has to have, you know, a breath and a drink of water or something, like that's when people get frustrated with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to me, I agree. I just don't see him. Maybe not right now, but, you know, definitely not a point guard. I think a shooting guard, like you said, where you could pass him the ball, catch and shoot type guy. But to handle the ball primarily, I'd rather have Freddie in there.
Yeah.
You know, if everybody remembers at the end of last year, Jemai Mashack started at point guard and we went to the Sweet 16. Why not let him run the damn point when Zeigler has to have a breath?
Yeah, and Ziegler's not on the bench long.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the turnovers and the shaky defense. You know, I think it comes from guarding the point guard who's most of the time quicker than him. And he's just not a very good passer.
No, but, you know, like we always say, if this is the biggest thing we have to complain about, and we're doing a lot of things right. It was like you know, pretty standard for the most part, what we've become accustomed to with this team. Like the big three, Adu, Knecht, and Zeigler, were pretty much the entire offensive output. And that's just – and Triple J and Vescovy did their thing on defense, and that's just what we have to expect at this point. And
yeah, Bryce – if your name is not Adu, Knecht, or Zeigler, you shot the ball 12 times last night.
Yep. So that's the thing. Like, at first, you know, earlier this season, it worried me a lot more when everybody else was being a zero on offense. But now that we're at the point we're at now, it's obviously the game plan. It's not that they just suck on offense all of a sudden. It's obviously game plan that way. So we'll roll with it. I mean, it works.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Vescovy forgot how to shoot. He just doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, and me and Jim talked about it on the last podcast, Bryce. Vescovy and Josiah Jordan-James are worth having in the game just from what they bring on defense. I mean, if you watch Vescovy guard the ball, I mean, it's incredible. And his thievery, you know, getting steals from when you're like, how in the hell did he just do that?
Dude, I've never seen a team get more steals off of inbounds than this team.
He's also 4 steals away from the record.
Yeah, I mean, it's like every game, Zeigler and Vescovy are like camping out by our basket, like waiting to steal an inbound, and it usually works. It's crazy.
Do y'all remember the sequence in the game when Zeigler was switched on to, I think it was Mack for South Carolina, their biggest guy, and Vescovy told him to switch out. He's like, you know, Vescovy's bigger than Zeigler, obviously, and he's getting back down, and he steals it from him from behind his back. I mean, that was incredible. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that people who just look at the box score don't get to enjoy whenever you're watching these 2 fifth-year seniors.
Y'all want to know what my main takeaway from this game was?
Yes.
So everybody, and I apologize, I don't have the tweet prepared, but somebody pointed this out to me. So everybody's always given Rick shit for being weird about timeouts. Like, this is something that we've been talking about forever. And whenever another team goes on a run, he's so stubborn with that, like he just won't call a timeout even when he probably should. Did y'all notice against South Carolina, they went on, I think it was an 8-0 run. He called a timeout, and then we regrouped and went on like a 12-0 run.
Yeah, and I think that has to deal with how mature this team is. I mean, you could I could see it, envision it, Vescovy being on the sideline, being like, yo, let's calm down, take a step back, and regain our, momentum here. And that's exactly what they did. That's a good point, Bryce.
It just seems like he really trusts this team. Like, he loves this team. He's willing to adjust things for this team because he trusts them. And that, to me, says a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I've been watching Rick Barnes since he's been at Tennessee. I've been to the games, and the timeout thing, you're absolutely right, Bryce. He's always been hesitant. He wants to see his team work through the troubles or whatever. And a lot of the times it came back and bit him in the ass. But last night, or Wednesday night, they had that little spurt and they cut it to 6. And you're exactly right. I mean, we look completely different coming out of that timeout, and it didn't hurt that Knecht hit that 4-point play from the corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's just awesome. I mean, Ryan, you've probably, I would say, in Rick Barnes' tenure, every game, I mean, have you missed one?
I don't think so.
Like, so you would know. Like, I just think this team is it just feels different. It just feels like everything could click and it could be really special. And it's cool to see.
Yeah, the one team that is even remotely comparable is the Grant and Admiral. Yeah.
Yeah.
And their issue was they only went 6 deep with any effectiveness. But we don't have that problem. I mean, we go 8 deep, and the 3 that come off the
9.
bench. Yeah, I mean the people that come off the bench when we go 8 deep, they all have a role. They all know their role. They all do well at their role. I mean, you're absolutely right that it's the most complete and the most versatile team for March that Rick Barnes has had at Tennessee.
Jim,
go ahead. No, go ahead, Ash.
I was gonna get your opinion. Me and Ryan talked about it last night, but a ton of South Carolina fans, like after the game, the narrative was Tennessee's a 500 team without Knecht. What's your thoughts on that?
I think last year will tell you a lot. I mean,
exactly.
The fact we had nobody that could score like Knecht last year, and exactly. I mean, I would say I would put that point more towards if we didn't have Zakai Zeigler, it would be a different story more than if we didn't have Knecht. Zakai Zeigler is the best point guard in the SEC, and if not, he's top 5 in the country in my opinion.
100%.
And I wouldn't say, obviously if we didn't have DK, it'd be, a lot different, but we wouldn't be 500. That's not even remotely close to accurate because, Jonas Adu, Awaka, Triple J, Vescovy, Zakai, they were all here last year.
Well, and like we said earlier, though, it's not like they don't know how to score. They just don't have to because Knecht is there. So anybody can say, well, without Knecht, they would suck. Okay, but if Knecht wasn't there, Triple J wouldn't be a sitting duck on offense.
Triple J scored how many on North Carolina?
Like 22, I think.
Yeah, the guy could score. He just doesn't have to, like you say, he doesn't have to shoot.
Yeah.
They're unselfish. They don't need to score 20 points a game. They want to just win games. That's the dangerous thing about this team is even Knecht. Knecht doesn't have to score 20 points to feel good about himself. He wants to win the game. If Knecht has to score 10 points with no assists, no rebounds, but we still win, Knecht doesn't care.
I mean, the only thing you have to say to counteract that as complete nonsense is that we went to Alabama and won with him scoring 13. We went to Kentucky and won with him scoring 16.
Yeah.
Like, it's just stupid. Like, it blows my mind that's what, you know, an outsider boils us down to is a one-man team.
Now, and here's the thing. Tomorrow's going to tell us a lot about this team because Kentucky, and me and Bryce were talking before we started recording, Kentucky technically has more to play for than Tennessee does in this game.
Mm-hmm. You got to add the revenge factor too.
Well, yeah, it's not even revenge. You got to think about it. This Tennessee-Kentucky rivalry, we both hate each other. We both want to win, and especially with us being home. Here's my thing: is this Tennessee team does not want to lose another game at home. We lost to South Carolina on our home court. They don't want to do it again.
Well, do y'all want to just go ahead and get into the Kentucky preview then?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to be a while because this game's going to be a hectic one.
So Ryan, before you counter, I just want to dive into what me and Jim were talking about. Like, we do both think Kentucky probably has more to play for, because think of it like this: Kentucky, after getting embarrassed at home by us, Kentucky is going to want nothing more than, one, beat us at home, and two, potentially screw up us getting a number 1 seed. And
sure,
Kentucky's own seeding. I mean, we have a better idea of where Tennessee's going to be in the tournament than we do Kentucky at this point. So I think, not that they ever would against Kentucky, but this is definitely not a game we're going to be able to just sleepwalk through.
No, for sure. You definitely can't sleepwalk it. This is a tournament game. Like this is like your preview to a March Madness type game, and you're lucky. We're lucky it's in our home, our home gym. So, but it's going to show a lot of this Tennessee team because Kentucky. I mean, if they lose, they could very well end up as a 5 seed in the SEC tournament, and then depending on how they do in the SEC tournament, they could end up being a 5 seed in March for March Madness. So Kentucky has a lot to play for, but a lot of variables are on our side for this one. I'm not saying that we can't lose because it's happened before, but I mean it's going to show us a lot. I really think this Tennessee team's going to really want to win this one.
Yep. I totally agree that Kentucky, I mean, this is obviously a bigger game for Kentucky than it is Tennessee when you just look at the implications, but Tennessee's still playing for that 1 seed. They're still defending home court. It's a final game for Vescovy and Triple J, Dalton Knecht. And Josiah's already given interviews this week. Vescovy has already given an interview this week saying there's no way in hell they are treating this game any differently than if the SEC was still on the line. So, I mean, it's like you said, Bryce. It's Kentucky. Tennessee always wants to beat Kentucky. It doesn't matter what the records are, and I just do not see any scenario where Tennessee comes out and plays flat.
No, yeah, I mean they're going to want to send the guys off right in the regular season, and it just
the crowd's going to be nuts too.
Oh, for sure. It's always scary playing Kentucky. I mean, let's just be honest here. And Ryan, me and Jim also talked about like how Kentucky, I could see Kentucky being in March being anything from a first round exit. Like I could see them losing to a 13 because they play no defense, but I could also see them getting all the way to the Final Four.
Well, they have the talent to win the national championship. They just don't. I just don't think this team that they have is an all-around team that could get them get them there. Like I don't see them beating a UConn or a Purdue. Like I just don't see that. And Tennessee, I do. Tennessee is all around a team that could do that. But and I'm not trying to throw hate to Kentucky because I feel like every time I throw hate to Kentucky, they beat us. So I'm gonna not do that. But yeah, this game is going to be a good one. I don't think it's going to be a blowout on any side. I think it's going to be maybe a 10-point win or like an 8-point win type thing.
Yeah. For me, the thing with Kentucky, it's been their thing all year, is they certainly have the ability to score. They have the ability to beat people to sleep. But just look at their last two games. They gave up 102 points to Arkansas at home and had to come back from like down 8 in the last 10 minutes to win that game. So the fact that Kentucky would probably give up 40 points to a middle school team, I'm not concerned about this game at all. We're at home.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but it's hard to say I'm not concerned. I wouldn't say I'm concerned, actually. It's just I'm at the point where it's like anything could happen. I mean, I would not be surprised if we lost, but I'm not concerned that we're gonna lose, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So say, hypothetically, if we lose tomorrow and then we don't win the SEC tournament, say we get upset in the second round of the SEC tournament and we lose tomorrow, are we still a number 1 seed?
I think so. I think Tennessee's strength of schedule and all the road games we've won, it's hard to say that Arizona's better.
I mean, Arizona plays in the Pac-12. Name me 3 good teams from the Pac-12.
That's a fact. And everyone's saying that the SEC is the second best conference in college basketball. Stop it. Auburn, Kentucky, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, obviously. I mean, these guys could go play the Big 12 and still be fine. They're probably doing what they're doing. I mean,
speaking to that, Jim, I think the Big 12 is probably better top to bottom, but I think the best teams reside in the SEC. That's what
I agree. But and I think about it, Big 12 is losing 2 of their schools next year. So
yeah, I mean, I just the 1 seed to me. I mean, I said it last podcast. Like, that's obviously where you want to be because that's where a majority of national champions are seated as. It's like 60% of the time that's who wins the national championship. But the ability of this team to win any type of game, I mean, it's like I said, I obviously want the 1 seed, but it's just wherever we are seated, I mean, I don't think we'll be less than a 2 no matter what happens. If Kentucky beats us by 60 and then we lose to Texas A&M on Friday in the tournament, I still think we'll be a 2 seed.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just take care of business. That's all that matters.
now if we win tomorrow, I feel like we're automatically bid for a number 1 seed. But and it doesn't matter in the tournament. But I don't see Tennessee getting upset in the tournament, like in the SEC tournament. Because we've played these teams and we'll obviously be the number 1 seed. And, even if we win 1 game, I feel like you're locked in for a number 1 seed in the tournament.
Yeah, I think that's all you have to do is beat Kentucky and then make it to the semifinals, and you have a 1 seed.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, this game's going to be wild. I mean, they didn't have, what's his name, DJ Wagner, the first game we played him. And I'm not saying he's oh my God, he's going to, make a difference. But that's another name you got to put out there that wasn't there when we played them at home.
Yeah. They also have Edwards actually playing like he was supposed to be playing too. He's come on the last few games.
Yeah, but I mean, they look who they're playing though.
Yeah, and he's still only playing like 15 minutes a game. I don't. To me, if you're John Calipari, I don't know why Dillingham doesn't start. I don't know why Reed Shepherd doesn't.
I'm the same way, bro.
That blows my mind.
Reed Shepherd and Dillingham are the best on the team.
Yeah, 100%. Those are literally the 2 names I wrote down as like the guys that scare me.
And I'm not saying Reed Shepherd, because here's my thing, is Zakai Zeigler will lock down Reed Shepherd. He's going to lock him down. Here's another thing, is if you have them both in, what I'm doing if I'm Rick Barnes, hey, Zakai, you got Reed. Meshack, you got Dillingham. That's exactly what I'm doing. Your two best on-ball defenders. And you're putting them on their two best players.
But guys, they have Big Z.
Bro, Big Z. You mean Big Flop? Like that, dude. All season, I feel like he's just been so, missing.
Dude, they're 7-footers. They have 3 7-footers who haven't done shit all year.
Yeah, you got Bubble Guppy that just, you got Bubble Guppy that Awaka made him his little bitch. And then Big Z is just a big L. And I don't even know the other one. He's got a weird name.
Onienso.
Onienso, yeah.
If you just if you were an alien and you beamed down to Earth and you looked at the reaction to that Kentucky Georgia game and where Big Z made his debut, you would think that they won a national championship. It is, and
they acted like he was prime Dirk Nowitzki or something.
And he doesn't play defense. If you're that tall,
he fits in perfectly with the rest of the team.
Exactly. You're that tall and you record a half a block a game, you're a bum. Simple as that. I'm not. Adu will pack him up in a suitcase and roll him down the ramp of Thompson Bowling Arena / Food City Center.
Now, speaking of Adu, go ahead, finish.
That's all.
I was just going to say, speaking of Adu, I feel like Tennessee wins this game if they just stay out of foul trouble. If I'm Kentucky, that's the main thing I'm going for, is get Tennessee's bigs out of the game. Adu, Awaka, if you get them in foul trouble, I'm not saying we're in big trouble where we're going to lose, but it makes a big difference with this Tennessee team.
Well, Awaka, when he first checks in with 2 fouls.
Yeah, he's just marked down already.
But yeah, I totally agree. Our bigs have got to play smart. We've got to obviously you have to win on the glass, and you got to stay out of foul trouble. Do y'all think this is a big Knecht game, scoring wise?
Yes.
No. Ooh.
Well,
wait. What do you consider big though? What do you consider
20
big?
plus.
20 plus?
Yeah.
I think he breaks 20. But I don't think he's going to be. I thought you meant big game 30 plus, but yeah, no, I don't think he's scoring 30. Now Dalton, don't come slap me if you see me, but I just think this is going to be an all around team type of game.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. With Vescovy and Josiah playing their last games, they might throw more shots than normal, and they're going to get looks. They got him in Rupp Arena because they don't play defense. So I could see them both getting into the double figures. But the fact that we have to differentiate between what is a big game for Knecht between 25 and 30, for most college players, it's 15 plus is a big game. And that's just a sleepwalk for Knecht.
These dumbass, stupid people we listen to as news reporters still tell you that Zach Edey's the better player. Bro, if I'm 7'5" with weighing 300 pounds, I'm gonna bully anybody too. Because their tallest guy that they play in the Big Ten is 6'10", that weighs 250.
Yes, I'm biased, obviously. But until Zach Edey does it in the postseason, I'm just not a believer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, to the people who say Rick Barnes is a failure in March, look at what Matt Painter and Purdue have done the last 3 or 4 years.
They have 2 of the most embarrassing losses of all time.
It's Fairleigh Dickinson. And there's multiple other where they were a top 5 or higher seed, and they've lost the last 3 or 4 years.
Bro, I'm so tired of these damn Kentucky fans just going yeah, you had no Final Fours, bro. What do you mean, bro? Got no Final Fours. Bro, you think I care? What? I pray. They better pray to the good Lord that Tennessee doesn't win the national championship. Oh my God, they better pray, because
the coal mines would shut down.
The memes I have on deck, I'm gonna be in their ear for the next year until basketball season starts again.
Well, I hope the coal mines don't shut down, because we wouldn't be able to fire off those memes on the internet. They got to power the electricity somehow.
Exactly.
They wouldn't be able to take it. I don't think it's their only material. Like J-Rod, his head would explode. He'd probably delete Twitter.
Now, going back to the game, though, in all seriousness, I think the Vols. They're not going to not have the motivation. I mean, you are playing for a number 1 seed in the big tournament, so you're at home, senior night. Dog Knecht, hey, this is your last game in TBA, and they're going to play hard. They want to win this game. So, I mean, both sides. You could argue both sides. I mean, both sides have the motivation to go win. You got the revenge factor. You got the rivalry. I mean, it is what it is. But this game is going to be one for the ages, I think. I think this is going to be a really close game. And we'll do the predictions, and I'll explain more into it, but yeah.
Well, Ryan, what's your overlying thoughts on the game? You think it'll be close?
No.
Really?
No.
You think we cover?
Where do we play the best offensively?
At home.
And who are we playing?
We're playing Kentucky, who doesn't play defense.
The Pussycats.
We're going to win by 20.
Oh my
God.
Clip it.
I mean, Tennessee is going to be they've already won the SC championship. They're going to be playing with nothing to lose.
Yeah, I get it. They're going to be loose.
Kentucky's going to be playing like they're
like it's like a natty.
They're going to be pressing big time, and that's going to lead to probably bullshit shots, and it's going to lead to turnovers. It's going to lead to them getting lost on defense. And you don't think 20,000 screaming Tennessee fans celebrating an SEC regular season title for the first time since 2018, first time outright since 2008, are not going to be revved up to face the fucking Wildcats
on senior night?
Let me tell you this: if we win by 20 plus points, I will be glued to KSR like you've never seen. I think
we just need to fire John Calipari. I just think it's got to happen.
I cannot wait to see that owl-looking motherfucker talk about it. Oh my God, that would be. Oh my God, my Sunday will be completely made.
I mean, tell me why it won't happen.
Well, I think we do. I don't think I do not have your confidence in that at all, but I want it to happen.
Well, tell me why it won't.
It's not that it won't happen. I'm confident enough to say it definitely can happen. I'm more of saying both teams have nothing to lose. I think I still think the Vols end up winning by 10 plus. But 20? Now, are we talking 20 later on in the game? Or are you saying it's going to be a 15-point margin throughout the game?
I'm saying we're probably up 12 at halftime and then separate, and it's not in doubt by midway through the second half.
Okay. I mean, I love the confidence. And like I said, I think they for sure can do it. So, I mean...
is Rob Dillingham going to go for 36 points again?
Now, good point. I was going to say that if Rob Dillingham just ends up not missing a shot again, it could be really, really close game. But also, I mean, Reed Shepherd could go off. Who knows? But it ain't going to happen because the Vols are winning this fucking game.
I think we're going to win, but I just still think Kentucky's too talented to get embarrassed like that tomorrow. I really do. I don't think I mean, 20 points, man. Come on. I wish you would have said 10.
Or 15. 15 would have been like, all right, like we hit some free throws at the end of the game.
My main reason, Ryan, and I know you don't buy into stuff like this, but it is the moment. It's the momentum. It's the who has what to play for. I mean, with what Kentucky has on the line, if they come into Knoxville and get blown out by 20 fucking points on the last day of the season, I mean, that's incredibly embarrassing, and that's going to be a terrible coaching job.
Well, that's exactly why it's going to happen. Nobody expects that to happen. I mean, what like who has more momentum right now than Tennessee?
Exactly, though. That's kind of my point. Like,
I get what he's saying now, though, because like I said before, I mean, we're playing for a 1 seed in the big tournament, like senior night, last game in TBA, 20,000 screaming fans. I mean, I get where he's coming from. I changed my mind. I agree with Ryan.
Join the club. I mean, when's the last time where I've been overconfident that I've been wrong?
No, that is true.
Oh, come on. Don't make me
we were wrong about the South Carolina game. We did say we were going to beat them by 30.
That's true, but we did win.
That is true. But hey, you know what? Me putting in all this money for like just to lose, just saying, I want to be reimbursed by Danny White. Like, someone clip this and just send it to Danny White. I want to be reimbursed because every time I bet against Tennessee, we win. And you can guarantee that I'm doing it tomorrow.
Let's go.
Hey, I mean,
It's
somebody
undefeated.
has to pay you back. Somebody has to pay you back, Jim, for your, selfless, emotional hedging. And I mean, it's probably the reason we won the SEC.
I'm be honest. I think so too. I've been saying that every time when we won, when the final buzzer hit, I was saying it's all me. It's all me because, I mean, I'm like $500 in now. Like, but no, take that back. How many we won in a row? 7?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. I'm about $700 in.
Well,
Yeah.
And it's the best money I ever spent.
Yeah, I mean, it's money well spent, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
So,
Bryce, I want to say one thing before we predict this game, the score-wise. I've seen a bunch of, different fan bases talking about why is Tennessee celebrating a regular season championship? And I wrote about it when we won on Wednesday night, to win this conference this year when it's probably the best it's ever been. You had 3 ranked games, 2 on the road to close it out before you even have to play Kentucky to close out the season. I mean, and furthermore, when's the last time? I mean, I'm sure it's happened, sometimes, but when's the last time the team who was predicted to win the conference actually won the damn conference? Like, Tennessee was not some underdog. Everybody knew that Tennessee was going to be good, and they still went out there and won it. Like, this is something worth celebrating. There's going to be a banner for it. Like, anybody who says dumb shit like that guy on Twitter who's talking shit about Dalton Knecht pointing to his ring finger, just kiss my ass.
I'll join in on this one. That kid that you're saying, oh, why is he doing that? That kid was playing in Northern Colorado, came to the best conference in college basketball, and is whooping on every team in the conference. And I think he deserves to do it. I think the whole team does. I mean, it's a hard feat, especially in the SEC. I mean, there's so many good teams that you have to go through to get to this point. So him pointing to a finger and doing all this, heck yeah, he can.
And we had the toughest road of the last 4 games to do it, and we did it. Nobody handed this shit to us.
I mean, it's stupid. It's really, really stupid. Like you said, a kid from a small school in Colorado, he's playing in the best conference in basketball on one of the best teams in basketball, and he's not allowed to be excited that he won something and was the major point the major part of the team winning it. He's not allowed to celebrate that, apparently.
Dumb, stupid, bullshit. Let's predict this game.
Well, you go first since you're so confident.
95-70.
Good Lord.
Shit. I did say I was going to agree with him.
Go with your gut, Jim.
I think Tennessee wins this game. I'm going to say, I mean, regardless, I think Tennessee is going to score in the 90s. I think I'm going to say 96 to, no, screw it. No, backing off. 102 to 79. Vols win.
I love it.
Ugh. Y'all always make me be the bad guy. I don't understand it, man.
If you predict us to lose, I'm turning off my computer.
Kentucky 101, Tennessee 99.
Oh,
Don't
you
say that.
piece
I'm
of
kidding.
shit.
I'm kidding.
Oh my God! If you were serious, I was
That
clipping
time,
it.
that time, I'm kidding. I don't think we're gonna lose at all, but I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I think it's gonna be tight, anxiety-inducing. But I think at the end we pull away and we end up with like a 6-point victory. I'm thinking something like 98-92, something like that.
Now, realistically, in my opinion, I agree with that because I think, I just think actually no, I'm not taking it back. I'm not because Tennessee defense has been playing really well. As long as we're hitting our shots, I think Ryan's right. I think this could be a bigger margin.
I mean, we've had 2 straight games of below average shooting too, and we're playing at home now.
God, don't hype me up like that. Don't hype me up like that. But, anyways, we're already 42 minutes in, boys. Let's hop into some Lady Vols action.
Yeah, so the Lady Vols, once again, every time we count them out, they seem to give us a little bit of reason to, maybe not give up on them totally. So in the first game of the ladies tournament, Tennessee beat Kentucky 76-62, which, wasn't an upset or anything, but it's always good. It's always good to beat Kentucky. And by the way, Code Orange, I know you're listening. You're going to be pissed because Kentucky fans are also like staging a freaking protest for.
Yeah, they're following us, bro. They're following. They ain't no shot that you would go to that fraud program.
Yeah, I mean, why? Yeah, none of the history of the Lady Vol. Yeah, whatever. It's a joke. But they want Molly Miller too. So Code, you should do something about it. But yeah, the Lady Vols.
Send in a letter to Danny White. Write a letter.
So they beat Kentucky, and then today, absolutely throttled Alabama today. Which Alabama was 23-8. Alabama was 4th in the SEC, and they beat them by 22 points in the tournament. Like an incredible performance. I mean, I don't think anybody expected that outcome. Rakia Jackson and Jewel Spear went absolutely off. I mean, they combined for 46 points. Just a freaking awesome game. I mean, I'm incredibly happy for them, and I hope. I mean, their next game is going to be
Bryce,
brutal.
But what we played them twice and played them really well throughout the game.
Yeah, it's South Carolina, if you guys don't know. But
I'm not saying we're going to beat them, but if Tennessee plays a full 40 minutes and doesn't let South Carolina center get 180 offensive rebounds, this game, I mean, they could win this game. Spear and Jackson and even Puckett, man, they got the talent. I just don't believe in the coach. They got the talent to beat this South Carolina team, but I mean, Kelly Harper, man, I just have no motivation for her. That's it. I don't know what else to say. I honestly could tell you Tennessee could win this SEC tournament, and I'd still tell you to fire her.
Well, I'm very glad that Jules Spear did not miss from 3 today. She was 6 for 6. I'm very glad that we beat a team that beat us by 15 on the road. And it's like you said, Jim, Tennessee matches up pretty well with South Carolina. And if we can guard their Amazon woman, I think that it's going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, I mean, and you're playing on it. Well, it's going to be a neutral floor, so
Kind of.
yeah. But I mean, they're Lady Vols. The Vols fans have traveled a little bit. But yeah, you're right. But still, I think this could be a good game as long as Tennessee just stays in it. And when you get to the fourth quarter, down by 3 or 2, whatever it is, don't just go absolutely ice cold and not score.
I mean, I think if the Lady Vols could pull off an upset tomorrow, how funny would it be to
Oh my God.
Rip an SEC regular season from their men and then do the same thing to their women 3 days later?
God, dude. I'm telling you, I don't know why they don't do it, but I'm giving the ball to Rakia and Spear all game.
Oh, that's what they did today, and it worked.
Yeah, and yesterday it was Puckett who went off. I mean, I wouldn't mind her throwing up, the third most shots.
It's a talented team. That's the thing. Like, that's kind of been the point the whole season. The roster's good. Like, they have players. It's just something hasn't clicked, and whether it's Kelly, whether it's, I don't know, but it's cool. Better late than never, if they're finally hitting their stride now. I mean, let's see what they can do.
Why not? Why not us?
I mean, really, if you want to go down that, I mean, Tennessee, the Lady Vols should be what South Carolina is, could be.
No,
they could. They just need Molly Miller.
Yeah, I mean, I think Molly Miller would get a single high school recruit in the last recruiting cycle. Were y'all aware of that?
No, I don't follow them that much, but I could honestly, I'm not shocked.
Kelly Harper did not get a high school recruit. She just got transfers.
Oh, well.
That doesn't seem like a winning recipe.
It isn't. It's not. Like we've talked about it with football. It applies in basketball too. The transfer portal should be for patching holes here and there. It shouldn't be for building your team.
Yeah. But, if they did win tomorrow and then go on to win the tournament on Sunday, I mean, that would be the biggest accomplishment for Tennessee Lady Vols basketball since Pat Summitt was a coach. I don't think that could be questioned. And it's like Jim said, I would still probably want her fired if she didn't get to the Final Four. So that's just how it is right now.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, though. It'll be cool. I mean, we're in everything school, man. We're competitive at everything.
Yeah. So, our the other program on campus right now that is kicking everybody's ass, i.e. the baseball Vols, had another great week. I mean, you play Kansas State on Tuesday and
don't get me started.
Run roll their ass, and you skate by. I don't even remember who we played on Wednesday. You beat them 2-1. Pitching showed up, hitting didn't. Still won the game, whatever. And then you start off the series with Illinois with a 6-3 win. So, what are y'all's thoughts on baseball this week?
Now, I want to go straight into the Kansas State game.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to laugh in their face because they came into this game like it was a playoff game, starting their Friday night starter on a midweek game just because they're playing a top 10 team. And he gets absolutely lit up. And, I mean, how embarrassing. How embarrassing of a program to come in, hey, I'm throwing my ace today. Oh, well, your ace got tagged up, boy. And you would have got sent home early, but they didn't accept the run rule. So,
yeah, I mean, they had too much pride to take the run rule. I mean, They didn't have to suffer as long as they did. So.
There's one thing about this baseball team that this team reminds me a lot about what was it 3 years ago now. The offense on this team, oh my God, it's incredible. I mean, the way Dean Curley's hitting, Cal Stark hit a home run today. I mean, Cannon Peoples still isn't like the Cannon Peoples from last year. He's still getting settled in. So, I mean, you got so much hitting on this team, and you still got Drew Beam, AJ Russell, who's hurt. Stamos is hurt. Antigua's still hurt. I mean, you got all these guys, and AJ Causeys, bro, that dude is. Here's the way the pitching rotation should work, in my opinion, in my very professional opinion. Friday night, AJ Causeys. Saturday night, Drew Beam. Sunday, AJ Russell. I mean, I feel like those are the three guys you go with, and then you got a main guy coming out the bullpen, Nate Snead. I mean, AJ Causeys has proven the past 2 starts he is a starting pitcher. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried by any means, but I'm more worried about pitching than hitting. I think we'll have the offense to keep up with anybody all year. I do think there's teams that have better pitching depth than us, obviously. But, I mean, it's hard to find anything to complain about thus far.
Yeah, and one more thing about the roster, that the roster not being completely where it's going to be come June. Imagine if Zane Denton comes back to this team. I mean, I don't even know where you put him.
I mean, he could be. I don't know, because Dryling's playing really well. Tears is playing really well, obviously. But to me, here's my opinion. You could put Tears in center field. He's played very well on the defensive end. You put Tears in center field, you put Denton in right. I think that's a spot. Because Hunter Ensley hasn't been hitting that well so far. And you could tell he's being in and out of the lineup now because of how he's hitting. I just think overall Tears might be your guy in center field. I mean, he's faster, has a cannon for an arm. He reads the ball well off the bat, and he smokes the ball. I mean, he's hitting the ball well. So,
yeah, I also love watching Dylan Dreiling play defense. I mean,
he's electric. He's electric.
I mean, he's probably your best defensive outfielder, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could see that. And he's quick, too. I just think moving Tears to center makes more sense because I think Tears has a way better arm than Dreiling. Because Dreiling can play center, too. So,
yeah. I mean, everything. I mean, the one question mark or semi-question mark for this team is pitching right now. But like I just said, we won a game with pitching on Wednesday. I mean, I think it's impressive to only give up 1 run no matter who you play. So, I mean, and we've said this too, when you have Frank Anderson in charge of pitching, I think the pitching is going to be fine. And when you pair it with the hitting that is similar to the 2022 team, I mean, this team is just electric, dangerous. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, this team's lineup is just, you could have rough pitch. I mean, Drew Beam, you're going to get Drew Beam stuff. AJ Russell, when he comes back, you're going to get AJ Russell stuff. I think AJ Causeys is absolutely nasty on the mound. I mean, his fastball moves like 3 inches every time he throws the ball. So it's, it's just, you got to figure out the right guys coming out of the bullpen. I think Phillips is a good option. He came in at the end of the game. Kirby's also always a good option. And then once Stamos comes back, and then you got Sechrist. I mean, they got the talent. They just got to figure out who's going to be the clutch guy that comes in and throws strikes. And because even today, I get it was rainy and ugly out, but they brought in a freshman, and he threw a 4-pitch walk, and Tony took him right out. And that was when we were up, I think, 4 at that point. So, or 5. And yeah, so we got to have guys that come in and throw strikes. I mean, we got the defense is good enough, let the guys hit the ball. Just let them hit it to somebody, and they're going to make a play. So,
Yeah.
Omaha or bust?
it depends.
Omaha.
I mean, you got to see who's in your regional.
Omaha. That's my answer.
Omaha!
Y'all got anything else y'all want to get to tonight?
No, I don't think so. I think the Kentucky game took a lot up, but let's get this win, boys, and move on to the tournament and do some damage.
So the Vols are going to win by anywhere between 6 and 20 points.
No, I said
25.
Yeah, 25.
Okay. I love how Jim at first was like me, like it's going to be a tight, close game. And then Ryan said 20. And then by the end of it, Jim's like, no, fucking 25 points.
We're talking about senior night and stuff, and we'd shoot well in our own gym, obviously. I think we break double or triple digits again because Kentucky they're just not a good defensive team.
No, and that is the argument. That's the argument that I think holds the most weight is just the momentum with senior night and then Kentucky already sucking ass at defense. I mean, let's end it before y'all talk me into it. Go Vols, baby.
Go Vols, baby.
Go Vols.